Hello everyone and welcome back to the YouTube channel for the MA-AUA. I'm Erin Hayes. I am a fourth year medical student who recently just matched into urology, and this video is going to be about match. What is match? The statistics behind match, the timeline, everything along those lines. This is probably going to be most helpful for medical students applying into urology. But if you are either before that process or after that process and would just like a refresher, then we're glad you decided to come watch. If you like this video or any of the other videos on this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. That will be down below. And let's jump right in. So the first question is, what is match? And if you are keyed into the medical world, you will know, but if you're not, match is basically the process in which an applicant matches to a residency program. You only match to one residency program. So the residency program that you match with is the one you will be going to. So the match program is pretty similar among most specialties, but urology has a few special aspects. The first special aspect is you have to register with the AUA to partake in the AUA match. So most other programs except for ophtho participate in an NMRP match. Urology does not do that anymore. So urology actually has its own match process. So before you begin almost any other process, you register for the AUA, you pay a fee, you get your AUA ID number, and you can register for the match. You do not have to register for the NMRP match anymore. Then you basically go through the same process that you would any other specialty, except for, again, ophtho. You fill out your ERAS, you put everything in. The due date is still the same, which is September 15th this past year. And then the timeline starts to change a little bit. So a lot of other programs, you start to hear back a little bit later about interviews. Urology, you can start to hear back within 2 to 3 weeks, even sooner than that. I think I heard back about my first interview the day after I submitted my application. You start to hear back earlier, and then the interviews start happening. So basically, not all programs you apply to, you will get an interview to. Programs kind of screen you, see if they think you'd be a good match, and you will get offered an interview. Interviews start around mid-October. This year is what I've heard, and go until about mid to mid-late December, which is, in a lot of cases, earlier. Some of the other programs go until January with their interviews. The reason why urology is on a little bit of a different timeline is the biggest difference: urology matches early. So urology match this year was January 17th. I think match day for everyone else is March 21st. So obviously that's a couple months difference, and I get a lot of questions when I tell people I've matched. They're usually like, oh, isn't match not until March? And I have to explain that urology in fact does match early, which is why you sign up for a whole different match. There are a couple things to consider when participating in the match. You can only rank programs that you've interviewed at. So if a program doesn't offer you an interview, you are not eligible to rank them. Again, programs can only rank you if you did an interview there. You do not have to rank every program you interview at. You will only be considered to match with programs that you have ranked. So if you truly do not think that you would be a good fit at a program, or a program is not a good fit for you, you do not have to rank them, and there will be zero chance that you match there. Similarly, a program does not have to rank you. If they do not feel as if you are a good match, then they do not have to rank you. Of course, the more programs you rank, it increases your chances of matching. So, people tend to only cut off programs that they really don't think they'd be a good match at. The algorithm of match is basically they take the applicant's preference first. For example, if 2 programs have ranked you number 1, you will be matched with the program that you ranked number 1. They will take your preference into account before they take a program's preference into account. So the advice that, I've always heard is, really, there's no game to it. You rank the programs based on your interest in them, or based on where you would like to go. The other thing to know about match is when you submit your rank list, you are basically entering into a contract that says you will do residency at whatever program you match with. That is why if you really do not want to do a program, you don't rank them, because if you do match with them, you are contractually bound to do residency with them. Because if you think about it, a program, basically, these residents are vital and they do a lot of vital work, and it's not fair to the program if you all of a sudden drop out. You know, it just causes a lot of scrambling and everything like that. Speaking of scrambling, not everyone matches. There are a couple things when you don't match. So sometimes there are spots that are open in residency programs. Sometimes the algorithm just turns out that there are some open urology residency spots. And you can scramble is kind of the colloquial term for trying to get one of those open spots. Obviously, there are not enough open spots for everyone who did not match, so there are other options to undergo. You could do a year of research, you could do a prelim year, you could, I mean, there's a bunch of things that you could do, but that is an unfortunate side of the match process. I thought I would go through some more statistics and kind of compare them to last year. So this year there were 354 residency positions offered within 142 programs. Last year there were 339, so that was a pretty significant jump. Last year the positions filled were 330, and this year it was 353. So last year there were 9 open spots, and this year there was 1 open spot. So the number of applicants, as in the number of people who registered for the match, was 484 this year versus 434 last year. But the number of lists submitted, which is the number of match lists or rank lists submitted, was 441 this year versus 389 last year. Again, I mentioned this year that there were 353 people who matched and 330 people who matched last year. This year there were 88 people who did not match, and last year there were 59 people who did not match. Something that I think is really interesting is the number of applications that people submit. This year it was 74 on average per person, compared to 71 last year. That is a very large amount compared to some other specialties. Urology does tend to have a large number of applications submitted. The average number of interviews per applicant was actually the same between this year and last year. It was 13. And now let's go into the percentages. So this is all statistics taken from the AUA, and they break it down kind of by groups of people who matched. So US seniors, who are people who are 4th year in a US medical school, 83% of people matched compared to 91% last year. The percent of previous US graduates who matched was 78% matched in both last year and this year. International graduates who matched, it was 32% this year as compared to 58% last year. And women matched, it was 86% of women matched this year and 83% matched last year. So I always think statistics are a valuable thing to look at, just to look at trends. Overall, I think it was a pretty difficult year this year for applicants. So that was a quick rundown of match and some statistics. Please let us know if you have any questions down below, and we will try to answer as many questions as we can. Please leave any videos that you would like to see down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye.